What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Story Seller Jet with another episode of the That So Fire Talk Show. Let's go, baby! It's 2026. Man, this is the very first show for the year, and I'm super excited to have my man here, Trevor Calais, on the show. But I want, before we get started, I want to wish you guys the happiest new year ever. I hope that you guys are going to have abundance. I hope you guys are going to have really great health, joy, peace, and massive success for 2026. But without further ado, would like to introduce my man Trevor on the show today. Let's go.
Let's go hustle, baby. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you, man. Super excited to have you on the show. Let's do a quick introduction. Who is Trevor Calais?
My name is Trevor Calais. I'm the founder of Let's Go Hustle, former military veteran, and I help other veterans and everyday people beat inflation with the three-phase system. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana, like I said, and that's who I am. I'm a man that walks by faith, right? A believer of God. I got a beautiful family, been married 15 years. I got 3 beautiful daughters, and that's who I do. Everything that I do in life, I do it for them.
That is awesome. I have 3 girls too. I didn't know that about you. How old are your girls?
I got a 14, a 12, and one who's about to turn 8 in 2 days.
Wow. Yeah, I have my girls are young. I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So
okay, but that's a perfect little spread. Now, see, that's what we wanted. I was trying to do a 14, a 12, and a 10, but I got a little 2-year delay on me. But yeah, but I see that. I think yours probably get along probably great. Like. It's on my youngest one.
Oh yeah, 100%. They still pick on each other, but you know they are great sisters, and underneath our stairs at home, like we transform that into like a house for the middle child. So it's called like her house. So all the time, all 3 will go in there and just kind of play for like hours. So it's really great to kind of have them so close in age to each other.
How's your middle one? Tell me about your middle one. I want to see if we're kind of the same on how they are.
I think my middle one is the sweetest one. Like she really, she is the sweetest one. I can't believe I'm saying that online, but she is like the more affectionate one. The older one and the younger one, they have their moments, but this one is just kind of. Well, all 3 of them. That's actually my favorite thing ever. All 3 of them. As soon as I get home, you hear those little steps like running toward the door and saying, "Daddy's home," and giving the biggest hug. But the first one that would do that is the middle one.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna tell you, even with the age, what was it?
6, 4, and 2.
6, 4, and 2, 12, 14. I mean 14, 12, and 8. Same exact thing. I'm just gonna be all the way honest with you. My middle one, they are all very sweet, but my middle one is the affectionate, sweet one. She's the athlete of the family. They're all kind of athletic, but she's like really the go-getter, the driver on when it comes to like being the best at everything, right? They're all super phenomenal at what they do, but that is the affectionate, sweet one. They have their sweet moments, but my oldest one, she'll give it to you. She'll set you straight. And then my youngest she's trying to be like all of them, so it's exactly the same.
Yeah, for sure. The oldest one definitely is very like strict. Obviously, she's the first one.
Yep.
The youngest one too. I think she's gonna be like the boss of all of them, because I think she's picking up from both of them as their biggest sister. But she's 2 and she has like a strong personality already.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
It's exactly the same. That's funny that it works like that. Someone similar that has the same kind of age group and all daughters, same thing.
Yeah, man, I did not know that you have 3 girls, so that's cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, daddy's girls over here.
Daddy's girls, we winning. Let's go.
Let's go. So one of the very first questions I like to ask people is, what is their... Sorry about that. One of the very first questions I like to ask people is, what is their origin story? So let's get started there.
So like I mentioned, I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. Shout out to my home state, my home city. Let's go. I kind of grew up, to be honest, like I had a troubled childhood, right? I didn't have a father. My mom and my dad separated, right? So I had a single mother raising me and my sister and all my friends that would always be there, right? Didn't really have a lot of money. Grew up in a trailer park. Was in the trailer park like basically my whole life. Mom always worked multiple jobs. Sometimes it was, she's going to her, her working her 9 to 5 and then on her 5 to 9, right? I spent a lot of time with babysitters, as I was in my younger days. And then I actually became that babysitter when I had a baby sister, right? And then I would say it did mold me to what I wanted to change into, right? Because I had to be that adult. I had to be that person that was like wanting more, right? I had to be able to provide something for my family that kind of like was lacking, right? Especially when you don't have a lot of money. My mom worked her ass off to provide for us, right? But still at the end of the day, I mean, you know what the average income in America is. Inflation's been around forever. So you can only do so much as a single parent with no help from either of the baby daddies, right? And then try to provide and hold a house down and pay bills. So that was, me, where I came from, and then like the struggles that I experienced as a kid. Thankfully, I had my uncle and my grandfather who kind of stepped in when my father wasn't around, right? But I mean, that's kind of what it is. It's kind of what it is.
Yeah. So from like troubled childhood, like what was I know you went to the military as well. Mm-hmm. How old were you when you decided to go to the military, and why did you decide to go that path?
I joined the military at, I think I was 19 years old. I joined in 2008. So 36 now. So I really don't know that. I think I was like 19, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 18. I can't do the math right now, but, the reason I chose to go to the military, it wasn't always on my mind. I wasn't the person that was like in JRTC and school. I didn't even finish school, to be honest. I dropped out in like 10th grade. Just because of the situation. I was in the streets, right? I was in the streets. I was making money. I was a hustler. I've been a hustler my whole life. So it's actually helped me to build the business that I've built today. I'm, obviously great at sales, great at, systems and structure and things like that. I learned that from the streets. And I had role models that weren't the best role models for that life, like for where I'm at now. But at that time, that was the role models that I had, right? So that was what made me actually want to join the military and actually change my life, because I wanted to change that situation. I was already in a poverty mindset, a poverty state, of how I was living. I was doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing as a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, right? When it comes to, selling and shooting, getting shot at and things like that, it was really tough, right? And that's what goes on back home. Like I said, I pray for, everybody back home to get their mentals right and not continue that lifestyle when there's outlets and people that can help you and things like that. Because I made it out, right? I actually escaped that, and that's what the military did for me. It took me away from that.
That is awesome. And I cannot wait to delve a little bit more into, your experience in the military, what, has the military has taught you, mm-hmm. And all the transferable skills that you're using right now for your business. But I don't know why, man. I'm just like, this is weird.
Some water, bro.
Some water. But you talked about poverty mindset. What is poverty mindset, and how can somebody get out of that mindset?
I mean, it comes with, honestly, the power of proximity, right? The people around you. Like if you have that poverty mindset to where you don't want to change, you don't want to move from your surroundings, you don't want to be better for yourself, you're going to continue to stay into that poverty mindset, right? Like the power of proximity is everything. So get around people who aren't thinking poverty lifestyles, who aren't thinking about being broke all the time or whatever it may be, or hustling or the struggle or anything like that. You want to put yourself around people that are actually positive role models, who have good things going on, have successful businesses, have actually tools and skills that they can teach you. That's the first thing, is getting out of your current situation, and you have to take action and do that yourself. A poverty mindset isn't something that's just, it ain't just like, oh, I'm born into that. No, that shit is taught. That you put yourself into that position. So the only way out is getting yourself out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is very key. Like a lot of people, that probably is the biggest hurdle that they might have from not excelling in life, from not achieving the goals that they want to do, because they're like locked in into that poverty mindset. But I really love your point about surrounding yourself with other people, because they say that, you know, you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. If you have other people that are dealing with poverty mindset, you will be the 6.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, your network is your net worth. I know you've heard it. I know you've seen it, and that shit is true. It truly is. I want to be around people who want to elevate themselves. So I want to be around people who have good relationships with their spouse, who have good relationships with their children, who have a successful business, who can teach me things. That's the type of people that I want to be around. So it all starts with that. Once you change that circle, right, and you value your power of proximity, right? And you will get out of that. You will leave the poverty mindset just because of the people around you motivated you to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier that you grew up in the street. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from the street that is transferable to the success that you've had today?
Systems. I mean, honestly, systems. I mean, living the street life is a system. Like, hey, I'm out. It's time to get more. Like the re-up, right? So I'm out. Time to get more. That's a system. Then break it down, distribute it. That's a system. So it's been able to, and obviously the people that you're putting into those systems have to be trustworthy. They have to be valuable. They have to see, you know, the potential in what's being done. And it's the same thing with business. It's systems. I'm putting the best person at that position in the business. I'm creating the system so that I know the system can't fail. So it's helped tremendously as long as it helped by me being able to maneuver the negative side of that and put it into a positive side, right? Yeah. Systems and structure. Same thing on the street. You can't violate. You can't play funny money. You can't break the system or it's not going to work. Same thing with business. You can't break the system.
Love it. For anybody that might still be living that life right now, being in the streets, what is the number one advice that you would give them if they want to get out of that?
My number one advice for anybody that's currently in them streets and they can't really figure out a way out, I put a reel up on my Instagram channel. You can follow me at official Trevor Calais on Instagram. And that reel was literally telling you to do the same thing that I've done. If somebody's done it, then it's proven to work, right? Join the military. I promise. Do a 4-year bid. Nobody says that you have to go pick the most highly dangerous job out there. I was an infantry guy, but you don't have to be an infantry guy. You can go do a 4-year bid, supply, cook, whatever it may be, and just let that give you the structure, the guidance, the support, and really help you with authority and things like that to actually change your position. That's the number one advice I would give anybody, because I've done it and I've seen it happen multiple times again for my friends and family that have been there and done that.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people, they think that joining the military is kind of like a death sentence. What would you tell them about that?
I mean, don't knock it till you try it. Everything is a death sentence. You could walk outside and get shot on your block, right? You could go to the store and get robbed. You can anything. You can't look at your mental of like your mindset can't be just because somebody said that or that's their belief that you are going to feel the same way. You still got to try it. You still got to do it. Your thought, his thought, anybody else's thought is all different, right? Go experiencing it. Go actually experience that stuff. People like to point out the negative side of things and all the time, but they never look at the positive side of things, right? Joining the military literally changed my whole life, right? Like, it gave me stability. It gave me a house. It gave me health care. It gave me life insurance. It gave me education. It gave me skills. It gave me money that I'm now going to earn for the rest of my life. It gave me a family. It gave me literally everything. And it can do that for anybody. Like, and you can't think that, oh, I'm not going to go because so-and-so is the president, or I'm not going to go because we're at war and I'm going to go. It's not like that. don't knock something until you try it. There's a reason people say that. Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. And I think this is probably, by the way, shout out to all of the military people that we have out there. I am so grateful for you and all the service that you guys have, provided, to us.
Sure.
You are incredible people. You're probably like the 6th or 7th military people that I've had in the show.
Perfect.
And
That's good.
all of those people have accomplished so many great things, and they all attribute their success to being in the military. All the things that they've learned from it that has, transferred to, their business and their personal life, obviously the discipline,
Right.
all the really great things. And we'll delve into that, but shout out to all the military people out there. Super grateful for you.
Salute. Shout out.
Let's go. So tell me a little bit about your experience as being in the infantry and the military.
I've seen the best times of my life, and I've seen the worst times of my life, right? So I joined, right? I took my ass bath thinking I wasn't even gonna qualify to even be able to join the military, because you got to understand of what I was doing and where I was currently living and my education level of being a dropout and things like that. So I didn't even think I was gonna get accepted. I already had these tattoos and stuff. So I'm like, can I even get in with that kind of stuff, right? But I joined in 2008, and that was a time of war. So they was really taking everybody, right? Took my ass bath, and I only qualified for two jobs, right? 2 MOSs. It was 11 Bravo, and I think supply is like 92 Alpha, if I'm not mistaken. It was supply. So infantry and supply. Those were the 2 things that I was offered, right? Didn't really know a lot about them, right? But my recruiter, he kind of sold me. He closed me. He was like, man, infantry does cool shit. He was like, I know what you do currently. I mean, you're already getting shot at. You can't even get me a clean piss test to actually go in so we can get you started. He was like, I know what you're doing. Because I've been transparent about a lot of stuff. I was transparent with him about everything, right? He was like, so infantry is actually, you can still do the same stuff that you're doing now legally. You actually get to go kick down doors and shoot bad people in the face. He was like, I mean, it's dope. And he was selling me on it, you're gonna fit, work out, all this stuff. So that's what I chose. I chose that. I didn't get no sign-on bonus or none of that. I went for that because I was like, that actually does sound cool. I was already playing Call of Duty and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I can do that stuff in real life, right? So joined. I went on my first tour to Kunar Province, Afghanistan. I was in RC East. That was for, in 2009 to 2010, I got OEF, Operation Enduring Freedom, 09, 010 tatted on my neck, One Life to Live on there. And it was rough. If you do a little bit of research on RC East and Kunar Province, was a hot part because Pakistan, the mountains are right there, and over there is Pakistan. So we continued to take contact every single day. When we got there, we were actually in the Stars and Stripes because we took contact for 82 days straight as soon as we got there.
Wow.
Right? I was on a COP. I wasn't on a FOB. And no disrespect to anybody who, obviously different careers, different strokes for different folks, right? That just happened to be mine. So I can't complain about people who chose something different. If you know what I mean? That was just their path and what God chose for them, right? But I was on a COP in the middle of nowhere, right? And just surviving, taking contact all the time. Super hot deployment. I lost a lot of friends. I lost some leaders. Had a bunch of close calls. I got shrapnel in my body from explosions and things like that. It was a rough time, but obviously I've seen the best parts of what a deployment can do, the bonds and the camaraderie and, the friendships that I gained that are now family. These people are family. You've seen them at their worst going through it. They've seen me at my worst, just stressing and struggling and at that time I was in a relationship with someone else who wasn't even doing the right thing. She wasn't even being ethical. She was out and doing her, thinking we weren't even. So at that point, I'm like, well, I guess now I'm just getting the money. Thanks for marrying me, and I'm making extra deployment money. I had to flip it and think of it in a positive way, right? But you see everybody's most down moment over there because you're over there for a year straight with that experience and seeing all the stuff that goes on, right? That's it's just kind of one of them things. That's what it is, you know.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
is. I love it. I have no regrets for ever joining the military. I have no regrets for actually being you know, an infantryman. I love it. I'm a badass shot. I can put bullets holes inside of bullet holes, you know, because everything that I've learned, like, it's literally telling you, it's molded. It's molded, and it greatly impacts your life. That's why I say, if you don't have anything going for yourself, join.
Yeah.
Just join and get that switch, get your college set up, get whatever you're trying to do, that can streamline it.
Yeah.
Streamline it.
What would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned being in the military?
Structure and systems. I would say that, just structure and systems, being able to hold myself accountable today, right? Like, I don't even use an alarm. I wake up, God wakes me up every single day, same time, every single day, right? So the structure that I have, I'm being able to implement that into my business. I'm also able to implement it into my own lifestyle with my family and my kids, my friendships. I look at friends different now. Like, if I don't feel that bond is there and they truly will, like, I know over there, they'll die for me. Just like I'll die for them, right? Like, I'm not saying like on no funny like rapper type stuff, but I'm just saying, like, I know that bro's gonna lay his life on the line for me, and I'm gonna do the same for him, right? So just having that type, like, if people aren't even on that type of time, like that structure, it's got to be out of my life. Like, I can't roll with it. So just the systems and the structure and the way that I've been able to mold myself and mold my business and mold my family and the company that I keep around me, that was probably the best thing that you know, to take away from that.
Yeah. What would be the biggest piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is on the fence of joining the military?
My biggest piece of advice for somebody who's on the fence of joining the military would be, look at your current situation right now. Do you get a guaranteed paycheck every 1st and the 15th, right? Do you currently have health care? Do you currently have a house, a happy home that you're living, not under your parents' roof or something like that, your own? Are you in a financial position to where you can pay for your own college? Are you good enough in school to get that scholarship, right? Are you, you know, like, do you have just any of that type of access? If you don't, the military offers you that absolutely free. And you damn near can't even get fired from the military. You got to really mess up for them to get you out of there, right? Like, you really got to mess up. They're going to make sure you stay fit. They're going to make sure you're the best at what you do. You know, you're going to be able to learn a lot. So being on the fence of something, just because you have limiting beliefs on what it is, look at your current situation or everything that I just discussed and see, can it be better? And if it can, that would be an option, right? That would be an option. And I'm only here to tell you the path and the journey that I took, because I know it works and I've been there and done it. And I've seen it repeated multiple times, right? So by all means, do what you do. But if anything that I discussed is something that's like, damn, that hits home, I really don't have nothing going for myself and I want to be better than what I am today, give it a try.
Yeah. What is the biggest misconception that people typically have when they're thinking about the military in general?
I would say that it's, man, that's a good question. I really do, that they can't do it. I would say that, you know, like, the biggest misconception people have is like, they won't take me, or they can't, or I got a criminal background, or I got these tattoos, or I'm gonna go to war. I mean, and now that I'm getting in my bag, I can really think there is a lot of misconceptions that have. It does. Not everybody goes to war, right? I doubt your background was quite as bad as mine, and they took me, right? I know it was at a time of war where they were taking a lot of people, but I've got charges, you know what I mean, that the military actually dropped for me. I was not, you know, wasn't even convicted, you know, like, so I don't think there is a worse position on where if they'll take you or not, right? Like, if you got tats on the face and stuff, they're probably not going to take you, right? Yeah. But be logical with it.
Yeah, from what I'm learning from you too, and obviously you sharing over here, this is a really great opportunity for a lot of people to transform their lives. like from all the different things that you may have done. And obviously you shared your faith earlier. I'm a man of faith as well, that, regardless of your past, God can redeem you, that, can transform from where you are at to where you are and today. And I feel like this is a really great opportunity for people to kind of, take a lot of things that, maybe you not have the, the cleanest slate before, but going in there, kind of get yourself redeemed and have an opportunity to do something great with your life as well. And obviously with all the different things that they will teach you to become a better man, a better servant, a better leader, with all of that.
Yeah,
Which leads me...
I'm sorry to cut you off. You can leverage it if you think of it that way. Like, you can just leverage it and do one term, right? You can leverage it in the way to, if you really didn't like it, you really didn't want to do it, or you really just was like, everybody's against it and you don't want to follow the path of what people are against, right? You can leverage it just for a certain amount of time, just to get not only what they teach you and what they do for you, but there's a lot of stuff that happens on the outside just by having that military background, right? Like, jobs are super easy to land, right? If you've earned it and you've done what you're supposed to do within the military, I mean, you will get VA disability for the rest of your life, right? If you want to go to college and you can't afford it, like I mentioned earlier, or you can't land that scholarship, join the military and they'll actually give you the GI Bill so that now you can go to college and do what you truly want to do, what you're passionate about, right? So think of it from a leverage standpoint as well. Okay, man, I'm about to just go do this quick little 4 years, boom, and then I'm out, and then now I can actually do what I really was truly intended on wanting to do, right? You're not going to have regrets. You're going to love it. It's going to be great. But I would look at it from that standpoint. It's like a leverage standpoint.
Yeah.
You're probably going to spend the next 4 years doing the same thing anyway, or be inconsistent, right? Might switch jobs. Your CEO might close down the building or whatever it may be. At least you will have a consistent 4 years of, I'm going to get paid for the next 4 years, every 1st and the 15th, right? So,
and while serving other people and
helping other people,
and obviously, serving the United States of America as well. So,
for sure.
What are some of the skills that people can learn that could apply from business when they are in the military?
Communication. Your communication skills are going to be obviously flawless. The way you'll be able to relate to people and talk to people, because you see so many different walks of life in the military. People from everywhere, every demographic, every different countries, right? So you're going to be able to know how to communicate really well, which you need that whenever you're in business, especially if you're you have to communicate to bring in leads or close deals or talk to your staff, things like that. So I would say the communication, knowing how to set up systems, and knowing how to analyze things like data and kind of look at the metrics of how your business is operating. It's kind of the same thing you do out there on the battlefield. Like, damn, we went over here, this flank was a little too far, so they actually had to come back to the enemy instead of sweeping and flanking them that way. Like, just stuff like that. That's going to heavily impact you in working a job or owning a business, right? Either or.
And also leadership still.
Leadership
is probably one of the big ones as well.
100%. Not everybody does make it to be a leader within the military, right? Like, because obviously you got to climb through the ranks and get that. But if you do, obtain those leadership positions, of course, yeah, you're going to be able to have that skill as well. You got to look over, you got to bring, you might start off as a team leader where you got to bring 4 people home. And then you might move up to a squad leader where you got to bring 10 people home. Then you got to move up to a platoon sergeant to where you got to bring 30 plus people home. And then a first sergeant where you got to bring a whole company home. You know what I mean? So that is one big, it's a huge thing, leadership.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of talked a little bit about your experience in the military and all the things that it has taught you and all the skills that you've learned and all the benefits that you've gotten from it, now let's talk about you coming home.
For sure.
So what was the experience like from the time that I think you said you were deployed in Pakistan, near Pakistan?
Well, yeah, I was the Kunar province,
Kunar province.
Afghanistan. Yeah.
Afghanistan. So you said that you were deployed in Afghanistan and then now coming to the US. What was that experience like for you?
Are you meaning like just coming home from the deployment or separating from the military as a whole?
Both of them are great questions. Whichever you want to go to. I was mostly thinking about like, coming, like getting out from the military to the civilian kind of life.
So yeah, just to take you a little bit of walk, right? Like joined, 6 months later deployed, came back from deployment, obviously acclimated back into, regular life, garrison mode is what they call it. We're not downrange no more. Then I went to Germany. I got stationed in Hohenfels, Germany, playing Op 4, which was still kind of dope because I'm still kind of doing, I'm playing the bad guy. I'm playing the Taliban now, and I'm playing the enemy for soldiers that are training, right? So that was a dope gig. Out there, I got a whole bunch of good and I got a lot of bad. I got demoted for getting into it with one of my squad leaders. I got my stripes back, like literally, I think like 4 months. As soon as extra duty was over with, and they were like, "Hey, you're going back to the board." So went back to the board, got my stripes back, and then that led to, I got my EIB, expert infantry badge. So that means people have them, right? But you got to be really on your job. You got to really know your stuff. You know what I mean? So got that. I killed it in Germany. It was a great, you know what I mean? It was a great, I would say adventure, right? It was a great journey. I would say it like that. From there, we came to Fort Riley, Kansas. And then that's when I started separating, went to El Paso, Texas, and then I was done with my military career. So now that's where things really got tough, right? Because the military is all I knew. For the past, 6.5 years, I only knew military, right? So jumping around job to job and trying to figure out something that actually fits me and thinking that because I'm separating that I'm going to land this dream job, sometimes it isn't all hyped out to what it's supposed to be, right? So that transition was probably rough. I landed a railroad job railroad. I'm like, damn, that's a dope job. I'm a conductor. Then I got furloughed for like 2 years. So it was like, I landed a job that was my dream job that I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to make a whole lot of money. And then I got furloughed for 2 years and I'm not getting paid. So what I'm going to do? So then I was like, okay, well, let me leverage what I earned in the military, right? So I used my GI Bill to start going to college because they pay you. So you get your GI Bill, they actually give you BAH, which is basic allowance for housing. So they were actually giving me like $1,400 a month. The apartment I lived in was like $1,100. So I was, not only was my college classes paid for, books and all that, but also they were giving me money to pay for my house. And I put $300 in my pocket. So that's how I was getting by through the furlough, struggling still. That's still not a lot, right? Like I'm still like, damn, check the check. And I noticed that became a trend once I separated, like check the check. Went to the oil field after the railroad through a furlough. I ain't even like that. I was like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I'm like, nah, bro, I ain't got no time. I am not doing this. It was during the wintertime too. And I was like, nah, I can't do it. So left that, went, finally got called back to the railroad. Was doing that again and got furloughed again. So it just was transition after transition, money, income, struggling, check the check. It was just, there was no type of what I was used to, getting paid on the 1st and the 15th, every time guaranteed. I know what's coming in. I know what's going out. I know how to live my lifestyle and I'm comfortable, right? All that stuff changed like that. So that transition was the hardest transition in my life. And I know more veterans are actually going through that because it's a typical trend. Yeah.
Before we jump to obviously your business, obviously you help a lot of veterans, which I think is awesome. What advice would you give to anybody that is watching this that are dealing with PTSD right now, or that might be struggling after their deployment is done?
My advice for anybody that is dealing with PTSD is definitely address it and go get it looked at. I actually get 70% of my disability for that, because it changes who you are. It changes everything with how you react to people, how you treat people, the things that you think about. I went through a time in my life where I was like woken up. I was like, now that I've like started walking by faith, I probably kind of understand it more, but I was like waking up every day at 3:00 in the morning and then like going, checking the house, checking my, I'm checking the doors, make sure they're locked, checking my surroundings and things like that. Sometimes my temper is very short. I've learned how to obviously grow and, as I get closer to God, right? Cause that's a new journey to me as well. But as I get closer to walking by faith and living how I should be living, I mean, it's rough dealing with it. I was drinking all the time. I'm talking about Hennessy every single day. I wasn't being a good spouse, right? I wasn't being a good friend to people. I was getting into it with family members, lost family members, lost friends, almost lost my marriage, right? Almost lost my family because of PTSD takes a big toll in that, right? Like, so address it, talk to people, connect with people, make sure that you're at least getting compensated for it. Don't just sit there and deal with it and not be getting compensated for it. Talk to somebody, because there's always somebody there that definitely can assist you, get you through those hard times and those mental thoughts that you have. Or there's other veterans that are dealing with the same thing that you can connect with and talk to. So biggest thing is address it ASAP and get it under wraps.
Yeah. So now you've had that experience. You went to the military, you came back, started a job that you actually enjoyed, but got furloughed. Utilized like some of the benefits that you've gained from the military to like advance your life. Mm-hmm. When did you know that you wanted to start Let's Go Hustle?
I got tired of the same trend of inconsistency, low VA benefits. Like I was only rated at like 30%. I got tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I got tired of like having, which I know now, I didn't know then, but I had good credit. I had like great credit. I wasn't even leveraging it because I didn't know, right? I didn't even know the tools that I had available to me. But it was the trend of like only getting by, not being able to provide a lifestyle for my family and my kids that I didn't live. Like I've been to Disney World one time as a kid. I've taken my family 2-3 times now. Never been to Universal Studios as a kid. Never been to, barely out of Louisiana, unless I went and visited my father in Arkansas, or we went to see family on my grandfather's side in like Wisconsin. Other than that, it's only been Shreveport and home, right? So I got tired of feeling like I was providing that same exact lifestyle for my family. I got tired of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. I got tired of inflation kicking my ass. I wanted to beat inflation. And then that's really what drove me to starting this business.
Yeah. For anybody that is watching this that may wonder, that might be wondering about Let's Go Hustle, mm-hmm. What is that business and what do you help people do?
So I've actually created a 3-phase system that helps veterans increase their benefits, right? So that's going to be the baseline, right? That's phase 1, increasing their baseline income, getting their VA disability rating increased to what they've earned. Some people have earned 100% and they're not at it, right? Some people are at 30 and they have earned 80% and they're not at it, right? So that's phase 1 of the process. Phase 2 of the process is actually credit and capital. Veterans or active duty military members who aren't in a good credit position, we actually fix their credit for them and we put it in a lender favorable position so that lenders actually say yes, because we know how the systems are supposed to look. I've been through every part of the system, so that's how I know, right? Immediately after that, we send them for funding. So they're going to get access to business funding. So now they have credit and capital. That's their financial uplift. And that's if they want to grow, scale, start a business, whatever, operate their current. And then phase 3 is I build them a business in a box. So I build them a rental car business that's going to create them an additional 5 to 10K a month. You can always do more, but what I build will make them an additional 5 to 10K a month. We have over 10,000 students who've already done it. So I have actually the data on this working multiple times over and over again. Like I said, military taught me systems. So I created the systems from me going through those systems myself, trial and error, to making it work. It took 3 years to build this, and I've been able to condense it into a 90-day timeline for anybody who wants to be a part of it.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest struggles that, people from the, people that had got out of the military, what are some of the biggest struggles that they have right now when they're considering starting their business or trying to make money regularly?
One of the biggest struggles that they have is they're trying to do everything with the money that they're making from their active income. It's super hard to, one, start a business without any type of leverage. And when I say leverage, I'm speaking about credit and capital, right? Credit opens the door for other opportunities. You can go get assets that you can turn into cash flow, right? And capital is that's your financial backing just in case anything happens, right? So a lot of the times they don't even have that flow of how, or I would say that they don't have that understanding of how that actually works, right? So I would say, go back to your,
what's the biggest thing that they're struggling with right now?
It's just lack of knowledge of using the tools that are already of access to them.
Yeah. So obviously, they got out of the military and now trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, and still maybe dealing with, PTSD and, dealing with all of the stuff. And because of that, they might, get into bad credit. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that they can do to improve their credit scores?
So one of the things that anybody can do when they're in a bad credit position is just take action, right? Invest in your credit, because that's the most important thing. If it opens the door for opportunities like assets and capital, why would you not focus on fixing that and not focus on only the score? They need to focus on the whole profile, right? Every data point on the credit profile matters. So you need to make sure the payment history is 100%. You need to make sure that your age is at least 2 years or more. You want to have less than 3 hard inquiries, right? You want to make sure your utilization, like your credit usage, is below 15%. They say below 30, but 15% is going to be that real sweet spot to go get you, at least 50K from the bank, right? And make sure you have no collections. They have to look at everything as a whole. Their personal information, make sure there's only one name on there, one employer, one date of birth, one social. Those things are the main focus on a credit profile. And if you invest into a business or a mentor or somebody that does it the right way, you're gonna basically drastically change your current credit position, right? Don't just invest in a credit guru who's gonna give you a little score boost by putting a trade line on. No, make sure you get the whole profile worked, and make sure you ask the questions on hey, what does this credit service include? Does it include cleaning my whole profile, or are you just going to boost my score?
Yeah. Why is it so important to invest in the right person, obviously, to help you clean up your credit profile?
Because the internet is full of scammers. The internet is full of people who just sell you perception. The internet is full of people who just sell you ideas or some things that they learned that they haven't even done themselves. So you want to make sure that you pick the right person. Do your due diligence on who you're choosing to work with and obviously do business with, and then go that route. Trust your gut. If you have a bad feeling from the jump, that's your inner voice of God. Listen to it. Don't even roll with it, right? Make sure, okay, you've done your research. You've looked at his page. You've looked at his funnels, you've looked at his YouTube, you've looked at his Google reviews, you looked at everything, and then you make your judgment based on that. Don't just get sold by perception and what people show you. People show you their highlights on the internet. They don't show you what they really go through.
Yeah. What was the biggest story, I guess? Can you share with me one of your favorite story of somebody that you've helped, from where they were at to where they went to because of the things that you were able to provide for them?
Yeah, I would say shout out to Mr. Marcus Jones, bro. Marcus Jones, he's I would say he's been able to separate himself from the rest of the students because he has literally taken action on every single thing. I spoke to him live at an event called Allegiant Vets. It's a virtual event. They have a skill bridge program set up for military personnel who are separating from the military that's looking for their next thing. He trusted the process, right? He joined my school community. It was free. About a week later, he bought into the mentorship. So he wanted the done for you business build out, right? So he bought into it. I would say a week later, he was so anxious to get started. He was just using the course materials. He listed his own personal cars and was already booking and making money. From there, we already had fixed his credit. We got him his first like 25K in funding, right? He's already doubled, tripled his investment right there, right? And then he got booking after booking after booking. He showcases his journey like throughout testimonials. He posts the wins in the school community. So as soon as he got that, he's up to, at that time, he was up to like 9 cars. He had 6 with him in Colorado Springs. He had 3 in Florida with his father. His dad's running now he put his dad on to run a Laturo business. We got him like 66K. Now he's already went for his second round. So now he's in funding again right now. So we're probably going to go get him another 150K in business funding, 14 cars now. And he's actually a part of my staff. I've hired him as one of our sales reps. So he's a closer for me now, because what better person to have, basically sell your product than somebody who's done it, who's seen it, who's experienced and things like that. It's a lot better than just taking somebody random off the internet that I'm trying to train and get. I'm not saying I don't do that, but that experience is the best experience because they can give you their true testimonial. They're going to speak from the heart about why you should move forward with something like this.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you've helped over 10,000 people kind of go through that process with you, which I think is fantastic. I want to give transparency on that. Like, just because the number is 10,000, a lot of them, that don't mean that they came into my mentorship for the 3-phase wealth boosting system, but they've started the VA increase process. A lot of them, they come in just to get their increase, right? Because they think that that's the finish line, but it's actually the starting point. And at some point in time, they'll understand that, like, you shouldn't have stopped there. You got to keep going, right? So when I say 10,000, that's the network overall. People who've came in for VA disability, people who've came in for credit repair, people who've came into the actual mentorship and things like that. Yeah. So a lot of people might not be familiar with all the different things that they need to do after they get out of the military. Can you highlight some of the things that they might not be thinking about to do that could potentially be a huge help in getting them back to acclimated to the civilian world?
Yeah, I would say start with taking some classes, right? Financial literacy, things like that, just to understand how credit and how the system works outside of the military, right? Being separated is a lot different, so I would obviously, invest in some financial literacy, invest into learning credit, how credit works, how you can leverage it, right? Invest in mentors that are going to actually teach you the path that they've chosen. And I would invest in somebody who's obviously, been in that same walk, right? Other veterans, because there's other veterans out there doing what I do. I'm not saying they have the same system that I have, but there's a lot of military veterans who are helping people get started in real estate, and they're helping them get started with crypto, and then they're helping them get started with, helping other veterans, Airbnb, things like that. So invest in somebody who's already been in that path, because you're going to relate more, and then you're obviously going to, have a streamlined process because they've already been there and done it. So invest in mentorship.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest hurdles or problems do you see veterans struggling with right now?
Not having their VA disability increased. Like, literally, that is the thing. Like, they think that what they're rated at is the final. They think that that's it, right? And they're living paycheck to paycheck because of that, right? If they just understand that they have so much they have literally the stable income, and that's what the banks like to see. That's what, lenders who are not only lenders lending capital, but lending assets and stuff, they like to see that. Oh, you're a veteran. Oh, you got a VA disability check. That makes that VA home loan a lot more easier to get. That makes those assets that you can make money off of a lot more easier to get, right? So, not having the rating that they deserve, thinking that's the finish line when it's actually the starting point, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest struggle.
Yeah. Why do you think some of those veterans still feel stuck after they get their benefits?
Because they stop there. It still leads back to they stop there. They get that increase and they enjoy that little win. So that one win that they got, like maybe going from 60 to 80%, and they literally stop there, but they have so much tools and they have so much leverage that they can utilize to literally be financially free, literally beat inflation, and literally stop living paycheck to paycheck. If you go from 60 to 80%, I mean, it only lasts so long because guess what? Inflation is going to keep rising, right? And they're going to say you get that increase, we pay for inflation, but it just does this. This is the grid. It doesn't go, okay, here's inflation, here's your increase. No, this is always going to outpace your active income. That's how the system is set up. So you automatically have to get asset income and passive income. And you can do that with the leverage that you already have. First, focus on getting 100%. Focus on getting 100%. Get what you've earned. If you've earned 100%, go get it. Because a lot more comes than just the money, right? You get the college, paid for anywhere in the country for your children at 100%, right? You get all kind of tax breaks. You get registrations that are like, I think my registration was free, if I'm not mistaken, or $11 or something like that. Like I don't know. But there's my family is covered by the VA now. Like my whole family, I don't even have to pay for this outside health insurance. They can just go to the military, go to the VA for assistance now. It doesn't cost anything. So get to 100%, right? And leverage everything. That don't stop there. Make sure you get asset and passive income to stack on that active. If not, inflation's going to outpace you.
Yeah. So now that you've helped them build their credits, how do you help them get capital? What are some of the things that you do for them to ensure that they keep building and being ready to go to phase 3? Yeah.
So we actually structure their LLC for them. So we make them an LLC to make sure that it's not going to be obviously high risk. So that's along with like phase 1 when they come in. It's just like the onboarding phase. And then we structure the credit profile to where we know there's going to be yeses. But Let's Go Hustle's also partner with Unified Impact Group, who's partnered with all the big lenders, right? So they're partnered with Navy Fed, Chase, Regions, Bank of America, Truist, PNC, and US Bank. So we have all those banks that are partnered with us, and their one job is to provide my clients with the financial uplift. We try to guarantee 50K or more. And there hasn't been a time where we've hit less than 50K for a client. I'm talking about less. We got clients going through it now that are already at 230K. They're still going onboarding. If I could bring up my phone, I could show you the tracker. I get sent the tracker every single Friday to track the progress, to make sure systems, right? To make sure people are hitting their quotas.
Yeah.
It's set up that way. It falls back to the system. This can't happen until this is done. And this is done to make that happen, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
What do you think veterans misunderstand the most about money after they get out of service?
They just, most veterans probably do the same thing that I did. Like we got it and I looked at it as like, oh, it's kind of like free money. Like, oh, dang, I got my VA benefits. I wasn't expecting it anyway. I'm gonna pay my mortgage and I'm gonna take the rest to the casino, or I'm gonna go out and do stuff that really isn't valuable and getting wins. You need to figure out how you can stack a win every single day, right? So leverage the money that you're getting to invest to make more money. Always want to move your money that way. So invest your money into things that make more money and that have a guaranteed ROI. If it's a thought, if it's some idea, don't invest in it. Make sure that it's proven. We don't do all pyramid scheme stuff, right? We make sure that we invest in things that have an automatic or a guaranteed return.
I love it. So now let's talk a little bit about phase 3. Which is kind of helping them setting their business with, some of the assets that they've already owned, like their vehicle. Mm-hmm. what are some of the things that you do to kind of help them set that up to become successful with their Turo business? Because I feel like this is a little bit, might be hard for some, like obviously if they don't have any kind of business knowledge or anything like that. So for phase 3, what are some of the things that you are doing to help them set that foundation to be successful with their Turo business?
So for phase 3, we've actually made it as hands off as possible for the students, right? So I've partnered with the Dealer Connect, who actually handles the whole vehicle purchase process for them. They don't have to go to the dealer. They don't have to sit there and get swindled by car salesmen. I'm not saying all you car salesmen are swindlers, right? But I am saying it can happen, right? So my Dealer Connect's one job is to make sure that he provides profitable vehicles to my clients. And we ship anywhere in the country. So they right at their home, they get the vehicle shipped to their doorstep. And then they're going to go through a process of like picking out their fleet and what they want, what they don't want, things like that, right? But since we've made that vehicle purchase process easy and they've trusted us that we're going to give them highly profitable vehicles, it works. I also empower them with course materials, PDF documents and things like that. That way they can always have access to the things that I've done, the knowledge that I've gained, and then on how to obviously operate it to the highest level possible. And then they get access to our private Discord channel where they have hands-on to every mentor within the program right in there. So if they have questions that they want to ask and need answers, we answer it right there on the spot or when we get to it, right? Depending on how busy we are.
Yeah. Man, this has been so fantastic. We are closing to the end of the talk show. Typically, I like to keep the show about an hour, and it's been about 56 minutes. But I do have like a few more questions for you that I always ask people on there too. So we'll dive to this in just a minute. But before we get to that, I know a lot of people when they are, tatted, they have like different meanings or different things. I want to ask you about this. What are some of the different meanings that you have? I know we were talking about like the one in your neck and all of that. So what are some of the different meanings you have for?
I've got my anniversary right here. So obviously that's me and my wife. We got those matching tattoos. My first one was mom and sis right here. I got that tatted. I got F cancer tatted on me just because my mother, she had breast cancer. She's beat it. My grandfather and other family members that I know have actually died from cancer. So it's fuck cancer, Sorry, excuse my language. I just got to be real about it. I put the hundreds on me because I try to keep it as real as possible, right? Like I always try to be 100. Man of faith. So obviously I'm going to put, our Lord and Savior on me. Camo down was kind of like my when I was in that lifestyle growing up. That was kind of like our group, and we did music and stuff too. So, and we looked at ourselves as like camouflage soldiers, like we're military is brothers. We're brothers. That's how we're gonna ride for each other. So it's kind of ironic that I joined. Got my brand and my logo tatted on me because this is all I live for, right? I'm passionate about it and I'm serious about it, and people need to know this ain't just some I'm trying to get rich quick scheme. It's a legacy that I'm building, so I'm serious about it. It tatted on me. Just a lot, man. I used to do music, so that's there. Hustler, obviously. Name on the brick wall. I used to be posted on a brick wall. I got the boot tatted on my back. My whole stomach's done. I'm a fan of art, and it tells a story about every part of my lifestyle. Like I'm not the person that's like, it's a dragon hole and all that. It's like different phases of life. Military. My friend was practicing. Throw some ink on. Let's do it. You know what I mean? It's just different, different stories in my life, and I remember every moment. Yeah.
So you mentioned God a few times. What role has faith played in your journey?
It's the only role. It helped me obviously improve my ability to be a better founder, a better CEO, a better businessman, a better friend, a better spouse, better father. The list goes on, right? I don't drink anymore. I'm not saying I'm just like quit forever. Like if we had a glass of wine the other night on New Year's, me and my wife, but I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke anymore. I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. I try to be as understandable and give as much grace as possible to people that I care about or cared about. You know, like I don't try to go into the old ways of like, you know, if you what's up, you want to get busy or nothing like that. I just try to give grace and be like, you know, that's their faults and what they're dealing with, and call me what you want, but I'm not trying to. I ain't got time to try to be the bigger man and all that shit. I'd rather just give grace and forgive you and just keep going, because the old me wouldn't give a damn. You know, the old me would get busy. The old me would be like, what you want to do. And it just never played out in my favor living that lifestyle. So I'd rather just not.
Yeah, I love that. And I know a lot of people typically they don't even want to share that side of the. And I think this is probably the most important thing. I'm a man of faith as well, and that's why I'm asking you this, because I think like
I'm not afraid to show it. Like I've spent a lot of my life being shameful of showing that. I'm never again. I'm not doing it. You don't like it, that's you. I don't care. But he's made me who I am. He's built this to what he's and is in it. He's still writing the story. So I'm gonna let it be known.
Yeah, absolutely. And like obviously that's a perfect way to show it. You have you know, God in you have a, you know, necklace, and you have like that, you know.
Yep. Godspeed over here.
Yeah, this is awesome. So yeah, now let's gonna move into the last phase of the the talk show today. The very first question that I have, which I ask everybody on the show, if you had to share $1 million advice to anybody watching this, what would that be?
I think it goes back to kind of where it all started. I would join the military 100%. I'm not a recruiter by any means. I'm not like trying to get people to join the military or nothing like that. But the impact and the change and the benefits that you can get from that are forever life changing. They will improve any situation that you're currently going through. If you don't have friends, if you don't have a job, if you don't have money, if you don't have a house, if you don't have camaraderie, well, that goes to friends, right? If you don't have schooling, knowledge, skills, you can't shoot, you can't fight, whatever it may be, it will literally give you all of those things. And like I said, I'm not recruiting for the military by any means, but that is advice that it literally set me up from who I am today. Like literally from a trailer park, broke, poverty, to running a multiple six-figure business. Awesome.
Next question. If you lost everything today, how would you rebuild?
I would rebuild it with systems. I would rebuild it with systems, better partnerships, because I chose ones that probably weren't the best. As time grew and moved on, I've realized that, right? So systems, better proximity, right? And faith, like, because I wasn't walking by faith when I started this business, and I feel like it's elevated me so much more after I've been, living and walking by faith.
Yeah. What was the hardest lesson that you've learned, and what did that teach you exactly?
It's a pretty cliche saying, but don't do business with family. Don't do business with even your best friends that you consider family, because one thing goes wrong, it's like all bad taste in the mouth, and like they feel away or whatever it may be, and they'll always hold that over your head. So I would much rather have not even done it in the first place. It just saves relationships, it saves friendships, it saves growth, it saves a lot. So that saying's true. Do not do business with family.
Yeah. What is one thing that you wish that you understood earlier?
Excuse me. Good question. It goes back to faith. I wish I really understood how impactful God could be on my life. Like how impactful he could be for the people around me, right? Like, because it wasn't there. It wasn't there before. And now that it's there, I've literally seen a change in everything. I've seen a change in my lifestyle. I've seen a change in my business. I've seen a change in my relationship. I've seen a change in my children. I've seen a change in everything. So I would say God.
Awesome. If you had to pick one resource or one book that has impacted you the most, what would that be? And give me a little bit of why that is.
It would be Boss Moves by Myron Golden. That thing just woke me up to like, damn, you can really make a lot of money with a skill, an audience, and online. I would say it was that one. I mean, it's showed me that about having more offers, about how to, you know, give an offer to an audience, about how trading time for money is like the biggest scam. I would say Boss Moves by Myron Golden is my pick. And then a piece of advice that I just attended the scaling workshop with Alex Hermosi and his team, and he was on stage, right, and he was speaking to us, and he literally opened the brain to seeing a lot more. He literally said that any online business can be grown to make $100 million a year in revenue. It doesn't matter what you do. If you are online and you have a business, you can grow it to make $100 million a year in revenue. So I guess that's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, so I guess that's also fitting for my next question. That was not listed in my questions that I typically ask, but I know this is the season of setting goals and setting intentions and doing all the other stuff. What are some of the things that you are? What are some of the goals that you have this year that you are looking to accomplish?
I mean, I want to speak on bigger stages. I want to be able to impact more veterans' lives. There's millions of veterans in this, world that haven't been given what they deserve, and I want to be able to figure out how I can put my face in front of them.
Yeah. Now we've talked a little bit about that. Let's talk about legacy a little bit. What do you hope your legacy be when all of it is said and done? What do you hope your legacy will be?
That I'm the number one go-to source for providing veterans and active duty military financial freedom, getting them out of the rat race, making sure that I can provide a lifestyle that they truly deserve, and continuing to be that impact for them. I want to be the only one that they think about. I want to be the only one that they talk about. I want to be the only one that's like proving that, damn, this guy changed my life. Damn, this guy helped me. I want to be that one person that this is tatted on me for a reason. It's already a legacy. I'm just going to continue to grow it more and more and more so that it can just stay and that is standalone. People know exactly what this brand is and what we do.
Yeah. You touched on financial, what is it called?
Financial freedom?
Financial freedom. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You touched on financial freedom. What does that really means for the people that you serve?
Being able to do what you want when you want to do it is kind of how I look at financial freedom. Being in charge of your own time and your income. Time is a limited resource. Time is something that we cannot get back. You only have one of everything, right? Like obviously, people may have a couple marriages, but it's really only one marriage, right? We only got one marriage, right? There's only one daddy-daughter dance. There's going to be only one mama-son dance. There's going to be one homecoming. There's going to be one graduation. There's going to be one graduating from college, right? Enjoy those moments because time is a limited resource. So if you can figure out a way to buy back your time and be in charge of your own income, that's what financial freedom is, the time.
Yeah. If you had to go back to day one when you first started, what advice you would have given to your younger self starting Let's Go Hustle?
Power of proximity. Make sure that you're around the right people. If I was around the right people and I was really investing into mentorship and I was around people who I was not trying to just, I want a nice car. I want rims on my car. I want this. I want that. I want that. If I was more along the lines of like, that dude owns a business. I want to be around him. Those were when I'm going, oh, you lame as it. No, I should have been in the pocket of that dude that was, selling the Yu-Gi-Oh cards at school, that was selling the little bags of chips at school, that was like, okay, that was at home reading these books on like college and things like that. Instead of like me bullying or being calling them lame and stuff like that, I should have been the person that was like being around them. So if I would have changed my whole environment as I was growing up, could have streamlined this process. I probably could have started this way younger, years and years ago, right? There's a bunch of successful business owners that are out there. They're 20 years old, 18 years old. They're young, right? I got 10, 12, 15 years on them, So I feel like it would have streamlined what I have today, because what I have is impactful, what I have is great, and what I have can actually help people. So I would have had a head start of helping more people.
Yeah. If you had to do like a 1 minute pitch elevator of what is Let's Go Hustle and the impact that you are doing for other people, what would that be?
We provide literally financial freedom to active duty and military veterans through a 3-phase system where we increase their baseline income by increasing their VA benefits. Phase 2 is credit and capital. We fix their credit and gain them access to capital so they have a financial uplift. And then phase 3, we build them a business in a box that's going to generate them more money so that they don't have to worry about punching a clock ever again. They don't have to worry about, is that job still going to be there for them? They will be in control of their own time and income.
Awesome. What is your parting advice?
My parting advice?
Yeah.
Explain.
Parting advice, like what is the last advice that you would leave anybody watching this?
My last advice, my parting advice would be, stop thinking everything that you see on the internet is a scam just because you don't have knowledge on it, or you've never done it before, or that you don't have enough information on it, right? Do your research and take action on anything that you see that could actually change your life. And it all starts with your mindset. So make sure your mindset is good. Make sure that your mindset is clear, and stop believing everything that you see or hear, bro. Like, just take action. Take action.
Awesome. Trevor, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and really enjoyed our conversation talking about your experience in the military. And this is actually why the show was created, because I see a lot of people, I call it magnetic authority, right? Mm-hmm. Going back to all the experiences that you've gained over your period of time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the accumulation of the journey that God has put you on, and now you're doing something because of all the different things that you are doing. And you're using that obviously to impact other people. So thank you for coming and sharing your journey on the show and the impact that you are having on other people. Obviously, this is huge, for all the people that were in the military to come home to be able to utilize, obviously, have done great service, for this country and for us. Instead of for them to kind of continue to live their life in bad way, you've created a business to actually empower them and to continue doing that. So kudos on that, and keep working, and having that legacy for Let's Go Hustle.
Let's go hustle,
and
baby.
Yeah, man, super fantastic having you on the show. And as I like to end the show, let's go, baby. Actually, it's Let's Go Hustle.
Let's go hustle, baby.
It's fire, baby. Let's go.
Appreciate you.